Although I've made quite a few pop-up cards, but I'm still intrigued by V-fold mechanism. V-fold is a fundamental pop-up mechanism, but it comes in many variations and effects. With a V-fold, you can make a piece that is attached to it, either turn or flip. So I decided to take time to study it in a little more details, and I'm going to share with you my findings. I have studied a few pop-up books, but in this video, I'll mainly reference this book, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Robert Sabuda. So let's get started. First of all, I've made a few mechanisms with scrap paper, and I hope you don't mind that. In my study, I mainly focused on when an attached piece will turn and when it will flip. It may be easy for you, but to me, because I have no sense of direction at all, and I have no sense of measurements like weight, length, and things like that. So to me, making pop-up cards, pop-up mechanisms is very difficult for me. But as I find pop-up mechanisms very fascinating, I decided to unravel this mystery for me. From my study, I find that if an attached piece is attached to the side that will turn away or move away from the central crease, it will turn. And if it's attached to the other side, that is the side that is, I would say it is stay put, then it will flip. Let me explain what I mean. So this is the base page. When you open it, you open it like this, right? And in most cases, it opens like this. It seldom opens like this, right? So the central crease of the V-fold move like this, right? Move in this direction. And you see that this piece is attached on this side, which moves together with this central crease that is moving away like this. It also turns. When it's half opened, you can still see the arrow, so it is the right side up, right? And for the other piece on the other side, when it's half opened, you see the cross, right? So see, this is the wrong side up when it's half opened or when it's closed. And then you see the tick that is the right side up. So it doesn't move with the central crease. It still stay here on this side of the gully. So I would say this is the side is stay put. In this scenario, the central crease of the V-fold is a mountain fold. And in many cases, the V-fold point is pointing toward the reader. That's toward myself. What if I turn the V-fold upside down? So now I will open like this, right? This is the central crease, and it moves in that direction. And the side that moves together with the central crease now still turns. And you just see the tick, you don't see the cross, right? So the right side will always show up, so it turns. What if I see the whole V-fold from underside? You see the right side up? Now the wrong side up. So if the V-fold, the angle is large enough, it becomes a different story if you look at it from this angle than from this angle. What if the central crease is a valley fold, like this one? You'll see that because it is difficult to make a valley fold on just with the V fold along attaching on the base page, right? Okay, when it's closed, you see the cross here, so this is the wrong side. When it opens, the central crease moves away, right? But now you see the tick, that is the right side up. So it is just the opposite of this V fold when the central crease is mountain fold. And for this one, you see it turns. Actually, I have a card made with this mechanism. I will show you the pictures because the card is not with me right now. It's already given to my son's friend. And I'll put the link down below as well. This one is also a valley fold, but when you fully open it, it becomes a mountain fold. So how does it work? You see that when it's closed, when it's opened, you still see the arrow, so it turns. And on the other side, when it's closed, that is the cross. When it opens, you see the tick. So in effect, it is the same as this one with the mountain fold central crease. Actually, I copied this mechanism from this book. So you can see here, when you fully open it. Now this is the right side. You can still see the right side, but for the bottle, it flips. I think you can explain this like this. For the valley fold, it is opposite as this one, and as I explained in this one, if I turn it upside down, then it will be the other way around, right? So the point, the V4 point is pointing toward me, but for this one is pointing over there. That is the opposite side, so it works opposite as this one. But when it fully opens, it is a mountain fold, so it works the same as this one. The explanation, it is still the same result, that on this side it turns, and on this side it flips. And this one is similar to this one, or I would say it is a combination of the first one and the second one, because this flap is attached to the valley fold on this side of the valley fold, but is on the left side of the mountain fold. So it turns and it turns, right? And for this mechanism, I copied this because it's quite difficult to see. That's why I made this one here so that you can see more clearly. And the folding is just the same as this one. And on this side, it is the leg. But for this leg, it is attached like this, not like this. So you can see the direction is a little bit different, but still it flips. You can see the wrong side of the leg. And now this one is quite interesting. Actually, I copied this image. It looked quite difficult to imitate. After a few trials, I found that actually it consists of three V-folds, one here, and one here. So when you do the dummy, you may make 3 different V-folds and attach them together. And if you don't want to have too many seams and gluing parts, you can dismantle the dummy and then transfer it on the whole piece of paper. But it would be easier for you to do the dummy if you separate the different V-folds. So you see that the V-folds on both sides here are pointing in the opposite direction of the reader. So this side flips, right, like the hands here. So my theory still applies. And this one is quite similar to this one. The only difference is that the V-fold is halfway up the parallelogram, this side of the parallelogram, or parallel fold. And for this one, it is the full height of this side of the parallelogram. And actually I copied this mechanism from here. Then I find that this mechanism is very similar to this one. It is also applies to this one. I came across a tutorial on making this card with the piece flipping up when you stretch the card like this. Actually, the mechanism is like this. When it closes, it's like this, but because there's another piece on top, so when it opens, it won't move around like this, flip around like this, so it moves up, so it turns. It's somewhat different from other V-folds in that for other V-folds, only some part, or actually the glue tab, is attached on the base page, right? You see, these two sides of the V-fold, they don't attach to the base page. But for this one, the whole half side of the V-fold is attached to the base page, and the base page opens like this. I'll explain it like this. It is still an inverted V-fold. That is, the central crease is a valley fold. So on this side, it turns. But since the whole piece of the left side moves, so it has to be guarded by another piece so that it doesn't flip. No, it's like this. No. So in a similar way, this is the inverted V-fold, the central crease, inverted central crease. This is the inverted central crease. And they turn instead of flip, right? And actually you can attach another piece on the other side of the card, on the other piece of the card, like this. Then it will look like this. When one goes in, the other goes out. So one piece is attached like this, and the other goes that way. You can glue a piece like this. So this is the crease. It is a belly fold like this, and as I've already glued this piece with glue, I can't take it off right now, so I just have to move this downward. But actually you can move this whole piece upward, and just this piece, let me move it a little bit upward like this. Yeah. If you have an aperture here, on this piece, and when you open it, it flips down and you can see it through the aperture. Okay, the last V-fold mechanism that I want to share with you, but of course there are all still many more applications or variations, but I just want to share with you this last one, and this one by Karen Burniston, and she calls it spinner. It's like this. So actually it's just a piece like this, and you fold it over like this, because this one is too short, so you can't see much of an L shape. Actually it's just an L shape, and fold it like this, and so it works like this. Actually you don't have to look at the back pieces, these two flaps, because they are just glue tabs in fact. So the V-fold is here, okay? It's attached on this side, and like I said before, if the pointy part is pointing toward myself, and when you open it, this side will flip, right? And this side will turn, but it's the other way around, because the V is actually like this, so it's just the opposite. So on this side it turns. So when you attach a piece on this side, it turns, right? So this one is just the same as this one. The only difference is the angle of the V-fold. For this one, it is a right angle V-fold, and for this one, you can see that it's more than 90 degrees. So if it's more than 90 degrees, it doesn't move as much. For this one, it moves more, right? It's pointing toward that direction now. And for this one, it's just right. It moves just right from here to here. In fact, this video is more for my own reference, so that I can refer back to it when I design a V-fold mechanism. But I still hope that you may find it useful as well. So that concludes my sharing today. Thanks for watching. Bye.